Welcome back. Welcome back. That's actually not the song I wanted to open with. I was gonna actually hit y'all with the Stevie Wonder, which I should actually. Hold on, time out. Can we do that over? I'm just fucking with you, Will. Let me do that over. Okay, time out. Good morning, evening, friends. It's your friendly announcer. I have serious news to share with everybody. Y'all some babies. Y'all don't know that Stevie Wonder. What I'm about to say could mean the world's disaster. Could turn your joy and laughter to tears and pain. Is that love's in need of love today? Y'all don't know that. That's on Songs in the Key of Life. Y'all have homework. You all have homework now. Songs in the Key of Life. Stevie Wonder, 1976. Love's in Need of Love Today. A banger. Hey guys, it's so wonderful to see you all again. Back in the place to be. It's Burn It Down with Kim Brown. This is the safe space where we set oppression ablaze. On top of that, this show is our collective resignation letter to oppression. We resign from white supremacy. We resign from neocolonialism. We resign from the patriarchy. Well, we have absolutely quit the fuck out of misogyny. Okay, we quit that bitch long time ago. So we quitting oppression. We not fucking with oppression. And in the interim, we are going to set oppression ablaze. Thank you all so much for joining me here tonight. I know the show had a break. It was a medical a medical absence. For those who sent well wishes and love, you guys, my mom is doing very well, recovering from her surgery. Still, she is on the mend. My mother is very strong. We've got a couple more things ahead of us, but we are gonna knock them out as they come along. So thank everybody who sent my mama, especially my mom, well wishes. Shout out to my mother. Shout out to Butch. Shout out to my mother's pit bull, Butch. Butch is a handful. Let me tell y'all. That's why I had to go over there and not only, help my mother with some stuff, but, make sure that the pit bull didn't drag her down the street. That was the most important thing. But we've got a really good show in store for you all. Thank everybody already. Actually, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of thank yous. I see y'all. First of all, shout out to Ursula. Ursula cashed out us before the show even started. I said, thank you so much to our dearest Ursula, our UK contingent. And we do have a UK story in the queue, baby, because we have got a mega supersized edition of Cops Ain't Shit. Because, of course, well, for one, cops ain't never shit. The cops don't wait until I take a break to decide that they not going to be shit. No, the cops wake up every single day and make a decision that they are not going to be shit. And over the past week and some change, the police have made and continue to make a phenomenal case as to why they should be abolished. At minimum, defunded, but seriously, outright fucking abolished, because the police are a fascist occupying force to stand in the way not only of humanity, but life on this planet. It is a wild, wild scenario. We're going to talk about what happened with the forced offenders in Atlanta, with the Georgia State Police murdering a peaceful protester. LAPD killed 3 people in the span of 48 hours. And then there's been a number of other cases that I want to bring you up to speed on. The Tyre Nichols case out of Memphis is a very disturbing one too. But then there's some updates on some stories that I have brought to you here before. And just generally why police are a threat to public safety. Like, there's no reason. Like, anybody that is still calling for more cops in their neighborhood, it's time for us to have a serious sitting down with our people and making them understand that more police and pouring money into more police is not the solution to the situation. Dawn, thank you, Dawn. Donnie just ran us a bucks. Thank you so much for that, Donnie. I appreciate. Oh my gosh, you guys are running bucks already. Hold on, and I appreciate it. And there's some people I am overdue with some shout outs as a result. Who just did this? Oh, thank you so much. Put that up on the screen if you could, Will. I don't know what that says. My gangrene thumb? What happened to your thumb? What a name. My gangrene thumb. Thank you so much. You said I just tuned in and got serenaded with Stevie Wonder, no less, right? Oh, come on. We a classy joint around here. I was going to give y'all that Mace, and I said, nah, that Mace is garbage. Let me give y'all that Stevie. Let me give y'all that quality. That quality. But listen, so while I was off last week, of course, the good news that I have been generally asking the universe, begging the universe, actually, you guys know this, I have been begging for good news, and good news came last week. January 13th, I think it was that same day, Friday the 13th, guys. Keith Davis Jr. was released from the Maryland Department of Corrections after serving 7 years for, let me check my notes, absolutely fucking nothing. Keith Davis Jr. had been tried 4 times for the same murder. 4 times, this man was not convicted of this crime. And instead of attempting to try him a 5th time for the same murder, emphasis on former Baltimore State Attorney Marilyn Mosby had pressed attempted murder charges against Keith Davis Jr., in which he and his team were preparing for a trial to go forward. That it was up until the Maryland Democratic primary this past June, when former Baltimore State Attorney Marilyn Mosby lost the Democratic primary to Ivan Bates. And in Maryland, Democrats usually win everything. So whoever's the winner of the Democratic primary is the winner, right? So now it's official. Ivan Bates is the new Baltimore State Attorney. And within a couple of weeks of him being in office, he announced Friday the 13th that charges would be dismissed against Keith Davis Jr. and Keith was set free. Gang, we have been covering this case since the inception of this channel for at least 2 years, but this has been a 7-year saga for the Davises. And I want us to take a look, if we could, at some videos posted by Kelly Davis, Keith Davis Jr.'s wife, Kelly. Kelly has been a guest before on this program. And what we're going to see, I think pop up that tweet for me, Will. Let me see the picture. Pop up the Sun. That picture of the Baltimore Sun, Keith Davis Jr. on the front page of the Baltimore Sun. Free. Coming home. Yeah. Make that big. Yes, go. Let's go. Let us go. Come on now. Charges dropped. Woo. What a day. What a day. What a day. What a day. So I want us to take a look at a couple of videos posted by Kelly. Follow her on Twitter at 50 Shades of Kells, Kellz. And this first video we're going to see is the moment that Keith was reunited. They have 3 children. The couple have 3 children. And I think this was their middle child, Jaden, where Keith showed up at his school and surprised Jaden, who did not know that his dad had been released from jail. And the second video we're going to see are of, I'm telling you, they are the most beautiful couple I think I've ever seen. Keith and Kelly Davis. It looked like they were at Dave and Buster's up at Arundel Mills. I don't know. That's exactly where they were. That's what it looked like. They was doing it's called Cosmic Bowl. Yeah, the glow in the dark bowling up at the Dave and Buster's, having a couples night, having a date night for the first time in several years. So let's take a look at these clips.
Are you counting points?
Yeah, even if you can't come back.
I can come back. No, I don't think so. I think your math is off. That's okay. You ain't. I think I can. Whatever.
week all day.
Hi, you miss me?
Mm-hmm. You coming? Like, bro. Oh, what the yeah, right.
Oh, Jaden.
What's going on?
Oh. Oh, Jaden, you gonna make me cry? Don't cry, Jaden. Oh.
That's cool, bro. Let's go. Girl, catch him. Come on.
Come on.
I'm not crying. Y'all are crying. I'm not crying. Y'all crying. I am not crying. You all are crying. This is actually the first time in the 10 times that I've watched that video clip that I did not cry. Because it's so touching and it's so it's heartwarming and simultaneously heartbreaking. Because for one, let me be clear here. Keith Davis Jr. is not free because Ivan Bates is the fucking state's attorney. Keith Davis Jr. is free because of a sustained organizing effort led by his wife, led by Kelly Davis. Okay, first of all, let's be clear. It's amazing that Keith is still alive. Okay, lest we not forget that Baltimore City Police shot him numerous times. They expected Keith to die. Keith fucked up the program by living. Okay, he was so strong he survived a police attempted assassination of him and spent 7 years in jail for a crime that he ultimately did not commit. So the reason Keith is free is because, number one, he has the best wife, I think, on the planet. I mean, the best spouse, the best partner. I'm telling you, if I knew that there was a partner out there like a Kelly Davis, I'm gonna get a wife tomorrow. Okay, if a wife's doing that, let me get a wife. Because Jesus, I mean, ride or die does not even fully encapsulate what Kelly did. What you guys need to understand, number one, like I said, the state tried to kill Keith, tried to kill him with bullets, and then tried to kill him by falsely imprisoning him. Okay, but what Kelly Davis was able to do as a Black woman, initially with certainly not a lot of community support. Let's be clear. Do you think the Black bourgeoisie in Baltimore came and rallied around the Davises because of police misconduct, prosecutorial misconduct, police brutality? Fuck no. Do you think the Baltimore NAACP said boo about Keith Davis Jr. and Kelly Davis? Absolutely not. Okay. This was a serious, sustained grassroots effort from the ground upwards. Okay. It was led by Kelly. She had some allies. Shout out to Keith's representation. I think the woman's name is Deborah Levy. Kelly, love her. Follow Kelly on Twitter. You better not say nothing bad about Deborah, because Deborah did some grade A lawyering to make sure that her client, who was innocent, got a quote unquote fair shake in the judicial system, whatever the fuck that means. But the judicial system fucked up and did the right thing. Okay. And I will say this now, because I do credit Keith's release to Kelly and to organizers that helped. I'm not going to take away 100% the importance of electoral politics, because at the end of the day, Marilyn Mosby had to go in order for this vision to be fully realized, for it to go from hashtag free Keith Davis Jr. to hashtag Keith Davis Jr. is free. Okay. And big up to folks like I want to say Megan Kinney. I follow her on Twitter at Expand Your Focus. If you go to the community section, I reposted the episode in which Kelly came on the show And actually, that same day that Kelly appeared on the show is the day that Marilyn Mosby had announced those attempted murder charges against Keith. But anyway, on the cover, the thumbnail of that episode is Megan wearing a Free Keith Davis Jr. t-shirt. I think D. Ray and Campaign Zero played a part in this as well. I mean, they got on it years on, but still, any support that the Davises could have received, I know they welcomed it with open arms. So, the good news, guys, I mean, let me tell you, when I got that alert on my phone that Keith Davis Jr. had been released from jail, it was the good news I personally needed. Like, I needed to see some peaks of light in all of the darkness. There's so much darkness in this country, specifically in the world generally, and I needed a a, a reinvigorating of my own faith in goodness prevailing. That the impossible can become possible. It did not look like this man was going to come home. It looked like Marilyn Mosby and them was about to run him for another trial on some bullshit. Okay. But then I remembered something. God don't like ugly. God does not like ugly. And fully entwined in the story of the persecution of Keith Davis Jr. has to be the story of Marilyn Mosby. Marilyn Mosby, as I said, former Baltimore State's attorney. Okay. Part of the reason why Marilyn Mosby is out of office is because her shit started to stink. I mean, maybe it stunk the whole time, but it really started to stink after she came under federal indictment for allegedly committing perjury on some mortgage forms. You know, Marilyn and her husband. I don't know what they think they are. Are they vacation? Are they travel agents? What are they doing? Are they Airbnb owners? What are they doing? They bought 2 houses in Florida. Federal prosecutors allege that they was not being fully truthful and transparent on some of their tax forms, mortgage forms, and Marilyn herself is charged with a couple of pity pat federal charges. And I will say that pity pat. But shit, I'm sure she charged people with pity pat shit all the time. Okay, make no mistake about it. So, as we celebrate the release of Keith Davis Jr., I would be remiss if I did not bring you guys up to speed on what's the latest happening with Marilyn Mosby. And we're going to play this package very short. This is like a minute, 2 days ago from Channel 13, WJZ in Baltimore. And I'm going to let you guys see what's going on with Marilyn and now.
Well, we are following some breaking news tonight. Moments ago, we just learned federal prosecutors have opposed Marilyn Mosby's defense team's request to back out from her perjury trial. In court documents obtained by WJZ, prosecutors determined Mosby's defense counsel failed to establish other good cause to withdraw. The documents also say the government does not object to lead attorney A. Scott Bolden withdrawing in light of his recent behavior. The six initially tried to leave following a series of hurdles they faced earlier this week, including the possibility of criminal contempt charges against Bolden. 4 of the lawyers who work at Bolden's law firm say they could no longer represent Mosby because of a conflict, while the remaining 2 said they don't have the time and resources to take over the defense alone. Mosby faces 2 counts each of perjury and mortgage fraud. Her trial is scheduled to begin on March 27th in Baltimore. Stick with WJZ as we learn more on this breaking story.
Okay. So if that sounded a little jumbled because, WJZ is not exceptional at news writing, okay. Yeah, you heard that right. Marilyn Mosby's defense team is trying to quit. They're trying to roll out. They're trying to leave her as her trial approaches in the coming months and weeks. And yeah, you guys might recognize the name of her lead defense counsel, A. Scott Bolden. A friend of the Roland Martin Unfiltered program, if I'm not mistaken. I see A. Scott Bolden, lots of different places in Black media. And you guys heard that correctly. So what has happened in the lead up to Marilyn Mosby's trial is that A. Scott Bolden has been reprimanded by the judge. Let me give y'all some reporting here. Judge Grigsby, this is per Fox Baltimore. Judge Grigsby admonished A. Scott Bolden for violating various court rules and gave him until January 31st to explain why she should not hold him in contempt of court. That's right. If A. Scott Bolden doesn't come into court on January 31st with his fucking story, right, the judge is seriously considering charging him criminally with contempt of court. It goes on to say, it said that Grigsby found Mosby's lead counsel, A. Scott Bolden, they found that he violated multiple rules of the court, including disclosing confidential juror information, making improper out-of-court statements, and filing without local defense counsel. He's admitted pro hac vice. I don't know what that means. But the judges also went on to say, again, that they are considering criminal contempt sanctions on A. Scott Bolden because of his conduct in these, hearings and motions leading up to Mosby's eventual federal trial. Now, I did speak with a criminal defense friend of mine. I said, is that typical that the lawyers say that, hey, you know what? We have a conflict and we can no longer represent this client. And my lawyer friend said, well, actually, it sounds as though that money is kind of funny because usually lawyers don't step away for conflicts, but they will step away if that bread ain't adding up. If that money ain't adding up, if them retainers ain't meeting the way that they supposed to meet, like Invisalign, if them retainers ain't lining up, the lawyers will step off. So, oh, what today when the tables are turned? What today when the tables are turned? And look, I'm going to play y'all another clip real quick, okay? Because I'm telling y'all, karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch. You do people wrong out here, you might could look all fly and shiny for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? You might be getting them MSNBC calls and whatnot. People might be saying you the best progressive prosecutor and all the blah, blah, blah. When you doing innocent people dirty, when you go out of your way to try to further oppress people who are already downtrodden and at the risk of being caught up in the system generally, as a lot of people in Baltimore are, nah, you're not making the situation better. If you're doing everything you can to stand in the way of true justice coming about, you're going to get what's coming to you, man. And this clip I want to play you guys is from a Fox 45 reporter. And let me be clear, okay? Fox 45 in Baltimore is some bullshit, okay? They are some bullshit. They are totally racist. They totally have it out for all the black politicians. And it's really kind of like a catch-22 as a viewer, because the bourgeoisie in Baltimore, the black mayor, Brandon Scott, the black head of the city council, president of the city council, Nick Mosby, who is Marilyn Mosby's husband. Yeah, he's still president of the Baltimore City Council. Marilyn Mosby herself. All of these people do need to be held to account. It is the racist tone that comes from Fox 45 that I don't like. I'm like, yes, definitely run up on them. But would you run up on them, Mackenzie Frost, who is the reporter that we're about to see here, whose clip we're about to see? I'm like, would you be running up on the white politicians like this, Mackenzie? I don't know. But anyway, fuck her. Listen to, I'm pretty sure Will, and maybe you can confirm this or not. There is a protester in Baltimore. His name is Short Man. He's on Twitter somewhere. He has a barbecue. He has a grill. Shorty will run up on politicians and just blow up their whole press conference, just start yelling at them, right? I kind of appreciate it. I would appreciate it more had Shorty not heckled me once at an event, but that is a different story. And I wasn't on no bullshit either. I don't know what the fuck he thought. It doesn't even matter to me what he thought. I respect the fact that this man will go up to these people in power, in political power in Baltimore City, and give them the business. So this clip we're about to see from Mackenzie Frost of Fox 45, you're going to see her trying to ask Marilyn Mosby and A. Scott Bolden questions as they were walking into court. I believe this was maybe yesterday, but I really want you to pay attention to the shit that I believe this is Shorty. I want you to pay attention to the shit that the gentleman heckling from the back. Pay close attention to what he is saying as Mosby and her legal team walk into federal court the other day.
Shit, dropping charges and free Keith Davis. Now y'all getting ready to trade places. Same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. Remember that Stop Snitching video from 2006?
Ms. Mosby, can you clarify what was really the truth about your travel businesses? Were they operational? Did you have plans to operate them while state's attorney?
You're not the state's attorney no more. That means prosecutorial immunity doesn't apply to you. Okay.
There's been some, obviously, some varying stories about whether what was true and what wasn't.
You feel me? The corruption.
Mr. Bolden, do you think you'll be successful in court today moving this trial into Greenbelt?
Same way you did
Not
Keith
taking
Davis.
any questions.
It's a fair exchange. You feel me? A fair exchange.
Ms. Mosby, what's your plans now that you're out of office?
I love that song. Turn that up. Turn that up. My man said, you put Keith Davis Jr. in jail. Now y'all about to trade places. The same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. I said, preach, son. Well, yeah, yes. Speak the words. Mm-hmm. And listen, any sort of hesitation that I used to have about, maybe we shouldn't be too hard on Marilyn Mosby. She's a black woman just trying to blah, blah, blah. No, Marilyn Mosby represents that black bourgeoisie in Baltimore that really has a deep animus to poor black people and working class people in Baltimore City. There are very clear lines of demarcation about class warfare, basically. Like the bougie blacks are very comfortable to let the police wage war against poorer Baltimoreans. And, I was just wondering, I said, I don't watch Rolly. I'm sure y'all watch Rolly. I said, has Rolly even talked about this? Has Rolly mentioned that his mans is about to be caught up on some contempt charges? Has MSNBC reported on this at all? has MSNBC, which I'm sure has a talent contract waiting for Marilyn Mosby, should she beat these federal charges? They can't wait to put Marilyn Mosby on TV. Have they even discussed this? Has this come up on MSNBC? Has Joyanne discussed this? Rachel? Anybody? Lawrence? Talk. Listen, we're not rooting for everybody black, and dare I say, we root against the black bougies, okay? So we want to say big up to the Davises, big up to Keith Davis Jr., big up to Kelly Davis. Congratulations on Keith being free. Pop up that GoFundMe if you could. Well, if you go to our community section, guys, I want to thank the Fire Fam because your support of this channel helps us to redistribute funds. We're not running nobody no stack, unfortunately, but we did send Keith Davis Jr.'s GoFundMe a $100 donation, okay? So they are trying to raise $50,000 in order to help Keith restart his life. This man has been incarcerated for 7 years. And though I don't know what the Davises' plans are, I do hope that a civil suit is forthcoming because this man was in jail for several years here, not fucking convicted of anything. It's very frustrating. It's very frustrating. And again, congratulations to Keith and Kelly and, Marilyn and Nick. Thumbs down, 2 thumbs down. I was going to say sarcastically, best of luck to you, but no, I don't even mean that shit sarcastically. I don't. Because they tried to use the office and their powers of their office to truly break this couple. And again, I can't overstate to y'all how truly amazing Kelly Davis is to have stood up truly to the most powerful woman and one of the most powerful offices in the entire city. Really, almost you could even say in the entire state. And Kelly won. Keith won. Her husband is home. Her children's father is home. Okay. And Baltimore City is going to have to break off the Davises, I hope, with many, many millions of dollars, because you are not going to be able to replace the time that this man lost with his family and with his children. And you saw the reaction from his kids. And that was just one reaction from one of their children when they saw that their dad was out free. Okay. These kids are going to have to endure a lot of healing for that time that was stolen away from the Davises because of a vindictive prosecutor and a criminal injustice system that allowed the continued prosecution of an innocent man. Burn this shit to the fucking ground, but pay the Davises before you do. We're going to take a quick break. Guys, really quick. So a couple things. So here we are in January. January, we are supporting the Missouri Abortion Fund. We are supporting abortion funds every month until bitches can get abortions everywhere. I don't know what else to say. This is an indefinite support action that we are going to do on this channel, because women and people who can get pregnant do not have full bodily autonomy rights in America. Women are denied, and pregnant people and those who can become pregnant are being denied life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. I hate to hear those fucking conservatives talking about the unborn deserve life. The Constitution said, yeah, okay. Well, why don't you go check on them kids that can't eat meals? Why don't you check on the kids whose parents was not able to provide baby formula for them? You know what I'm saying? Don't they deserve life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? You worried about 6-week-old fetuses? Beat it! I don't want to fucking hear that shit. Children do not deserve to grow up in poverty in this country. I wish the pro-life movement gave a fuck about that. But anyway, we give a fuck. So the Missouri Abortion Fund is who we're supporting as a channel. We will be donating $50, and we are asking our Fire Fam to match us $5 if you're able to the Missouri Abortion Fund. There are no abortion clinics open in the state of Missouri, as Missouri was one of those draconian states that had enacted trigger laws. So once the Supreme Court overturned Roe, trigger laws went into effect. Abortion clinics began to close. And big up to all of our people in KC, KC Mo, KCK, St. Louis, 314. We love Missouri. I love the people of Missouri. I do not like Missouri as a state. I love Black Missourians. The state of Missouri, it is a circle of hell. But that's for another day. That's for another day. Also, a quick reminder for our members and for our patrons, our January Ask Me Anything will be this Friday. So if you're not already a patron, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my calendar, guys, because I don't know dates. I don't know days. That would be January 27th, this Friday. So please, if you're already a member or a patron, get your questions together for Friday, and we will have a smashing good time after the live show on Friday with all the members and patrons, and you guys can ask me anything. Usually y'all ask me some things, but we do really just sit around and shoot the shit. So there's that. So come hang out with your Fire Fam for the Ask Me Anything on Friday. And please, if you're able to, support the Missouri Abortion Fund. Hey, big up. I didn't do no shout outs. I see you, Imani. What's up, Imani now? What's up, Latif? How you doing, sweetheart? There go Tyler, my son. Renee, and Imani. I was thinking about y'all because, okay, real quick before I feel like we're on the phone before I get into my next segment. Real quick. So April 13th, I will be in New York for Kelechi Okafor's live show for the Say Your Mind podcast at SOBs. I got 4 tickets. I have drafted Afra. I think Afra is vaguely aware that she's going. So, and then Sister Erica from Brokish said that she might be in New York, so that might be a 3rd ticket spoken for. But if Sister Erica is not able, because Sister Erica lives in Texas, so I don't know how Sister Erica knows she's gonna be in New York ever. But anyway, the ticket is for Sister Erica. If it's for her. But in the event that she's not able to go, I was gonna put it out for our New Yorkers because I know we got a couple New Yorkers. So, Imani, you ain't got no kids, but Renee, you tell your husband to watch them babies on a Thursday night. You come out to SOBs and we gonna have a good time because I would love to actually like see y'all. I would love to see y'all because you guys don't really know how much of a special occasion is. Because well, anyway, well, since the pandemic, no, I don't go nowhere, but it is going to be very rare for me to be in New York City because I'm country. You know what I'm saying? Let's go back to that Stevie, shall we? What was that? Innovisions? Where we're living for the city? Where the man get off the bus and look to New York. This is like I pictured it. Skyscrapers and everything. That's me. That's my country ass. Every time I'm in there, like, ooh, look at these big old buildings. Ooh. So yeah. So anyway, Renee, Imani, I don't know who else is in New York. If we have to cop some more tickets, maybe we'll do that. And I don't even know if our fellas them is up in New York. Who else? Who got in New York? James? I don't fucking know. Y'all, New Yorkers, announce yourself. Announce yourself. Oh, thank you, Latif. Where's my baby Court? Is Courtney in here? So shout out to everybody that has come through. Thank you so much, Donnie. Thank you, Quaker. Thank you, Quaker. Uh-oh. The hospital. Wait, what happened in the hospital? Put that in the hospitals. Overflowing with COVID. Hi, those meals. Quaker says that their diabetic neighbor was energetic at last night's and now is sent home because there's no room because of the COVID. Well, listen, I'm not going to even hold you, Quaker anarchist. Like, no matter what, I'm going to be masked up. Like, I don't play that shit. I don't play that shit. Like, if I'm out in public around people, I'm wearing a mask. I don't give a fuck who's looking. I don't care what anybody got to say about it. I'm wearing a mask. That's all it is to it. And guess what? Everybody that I know, and this is not, a blanket generalization, and I'm only talking about a handful of people, maybe like 5 or 6 people, but everybody that I know that wears masks has not had COVID, or at least has not been diagnosed with COVID and has not experienced anything that they would attribute to a COVID infection. I mean, they may have had an asymptomatic infection, but people who wear masks, I'm not saying uniformly. I wear my mask. I haven't had COVID. I can name you 5 of the other people that wears their mask everywhere and they have not had COVID. But thank you very much for that heads up though, Quaker, because that's real. And I will talk about COVID at a future date. Ooh, but there was too much shit to get into. and let us get into it. What's up, Shirley? Oh, I know Shirley not playing that dumb shit. Shirley, you ain't had the COVID neither, have you, baby? What's up, Nawadi? I know, fuck that nigga Joe Biden. Nawadi said, what COVID? Biden said it's over. Why won't the stairs come and claim Joe Biden? Why? I have been asking for the stairs. You trip that nigga once, trip him going down next time, dog. Trip him going down. And some Bama's that we need to see go down. Let us be pretty clear about that, you guys. We have a supersized edition of Cops Ain't Shit, and we really do have a lot to get into. So I want us to jump right into it. So we're going to start in Atlanta, where, as I'm sure you guys saw over the weekend, Defend the Forest protesters and the whole coalition of organizations that have been trying to stop Cop City in Atlanta from being built. They took to the streets over the weekend as a response to Georgia state troopers murdering, shooting dead a protester, a forest defender, a person who was reported to have been in a tent when the police came to clear the forest of protesters, came to shoot chemical weapons at tree sitters who came to destroy food and water supplies of people who were there occupying the forest in defense of the forest. And 27-year-old Manuel Tehran was shot and killed, still under unclear circumstances. It has been over a week, and the Georgia State Police and all of those alphabet-affiliated law enforcement agencies have not released body camera. They claim there is none. Since when? They have not done a lot to back up their assertions that police were shot at by a single shot, allegedly by Tortuguita, which is the word for little turtle, which is the how this young protester was known as. 27 years old. I believe they were non-binary, LGBTQ, queer community, Afro-Venezuelan. Okay. And people took to the streets over the weekend. And the media framing has been horrendous surrounding this entire incident. Okay. And it's been very telling to, again, watch the one issue in which Republicans and Democrats are fully united. They stand shoulder to shoulder together when it comes to defending law enforcement against protest actions. Okay. The first clip I want us to take a look, I just want us to get an idea of some of the scenes. And actually, Tina from Status Quo was down there reporting, and there's a lot of flames behind her in these pictures. But I do just want us to get a glimpse of some of the action that took place in Atlanta over this past weekend. Let's take a look.
All right, so we are in downtown Atlanta for the Cop City protest, where Tort, who is a forest defender, was killed by a state trooper this week. There are 13 other activists that are facing charges of domestic terrorism by the GBI, which is the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. Yes. Yes, I can stand here. Hello. So in the background, you can see that an Atlanta police vehicle has been set on fire. I did hear one of the cops say shots fired, but I think it was just backfire from the burning vehicle. So again, this is a protest against Cop City, which is the 85-acre police training compound that the city of Atlanta wants to build in the middle of a protected forest area. There have been activists that have been staged in the trees in the forest there now for almost a year. And they've been cleaning out the camp the last few weeks. It ended up with a standoff where one of the defenders was killed by a Georgia state trooper. Oh shit, it's gonna blow.
So, aside from independent media outlets like Status Quo, like the Atlanta Free Press Collective, like Democracy Now, like I've seen some places, give this fair coverage, right? The mainstream media is not interested in giving a true accounting of what is truly happening on the ground in Atlanta. They keep framing it as though protests turned violent when some glass got broken. Protests turned violent when items, projectiles, bottles, stones, whatever were thrown at police. No. There was a peaceful, sustained protest in the forest for over a year. The protest turned violent when the police showed up and assassinated a political protester, a peaceful protester. That's when the protest turned violent, when the police showed up. That's usually when the fucking protest turned violent, is when the police show up. The police are the ones bringing the violence. If property happens to get broken after the police begin the violence, we know who was the provocateurs, who was the initiators of that violence. It is always law enforcement. And I want you guys to hear the fascist Nazi fucking insanity that is coming from not only law enforcement, but also elected officials across the state of Georgia. Damn, I got to go on the Remix Morning Show tomorrow and ask Ear Doctor what's up with his mans. What's up with your boy, the mayor? What's his man, Dawkins? Let's take a look at this clip of the press conference given by Atlanta Police Chief Darren Schlarbaum, okay, where the police chief claims that breaking windows and setting fires is terrorism. Oh, no, you heard it right, y'all. Terrorism. Let's take a look at that clip.
It doesn't take a rocket scientist or an attorney to tell you that breaking windows and setting fires is not protest. That is terrorism. And that they will be charged accordingly, and they will find that this police department and the partnership is equally committed to stop that activity. We already have prosecutors in the room as we speak. and we're reviewing everything, and we have a lot of evidence to still go through. So even charges you see tonight, those can easily be upgraded, and they will be upgraded if appropriate.
I was talking to Molly. You guys know Molly is not in the country. And I was telling her, I said, hey, I said, you probably want to stay exactly where you are because the fascism is ramping up in the US. And of course, the fascism against non-white people and against non-elites have always been applicable in some form of fashion. But no, 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 no. This fascism is about to be for everybody that is opposed to the interest of the ruling class. Okay. The police have the audacity to equate broken windows. God damn, what the fuck is this? Martin O'Malley in 1994, broken windows, zero tolerance, Rudy Giuliani in New York. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Broken windows is terrorism. Broken windows and setting fires is terrorism. Not actually murdering unarmed people, not murdering peaceful people. That's not terroristic. No, the destruction of property in this capitalist society is viewed as terrorism. And this is why I say burn it down. Not just the system, but truly the entire country needs to be set ablaze and start again. Because the priorities and the perspectives here are very askew, A young person who was defending the forest, everybody, the forest. And let me be clear here. Stop Cop City is a racial justice issue. It is an environmental justice issue, okay? This forest is Muskogee land, okay? We know the whole country has been taken from Native Americans, but it's time to reclaim the land back, okay? And make sure that further harm to the land and to the people surrounding that land, it has to be eliminated, okay? And the state is very determined here, very determined, and they have the backing of the corporate media that are quite comfortable as describing peaceful protesters as terrorists. And the state, in fact, are charging these folks with additional charges of domestic terrorism. And according to the Twitter account for the Defend the Atlanta Forest, they say that those who were arrested over the weekend are being denied meals. Some of them have not even had access to counsel, to their attorneys. And what they're asking us to do is to contribute to the Atlanta Solidarity Fund. Okay. You can find it. I think it's atlantasolidarity.org or find them on Twitter, ATLSOLI Fund. I spoke with the young man who runs the Atlanta, or one of the people that run the Atlanta Solidarity Fund. His name is Marlon. I spoke with him a couple of weeks ago on Status Quo. I'll actually post that interview on the channel so you guys can check it out. But no, the situation is getting more serious. And truly, guys, I really wish I could be down there. I really wish I could. And the reason I'm not is because I'm disabled. And that's the other thing too, like the things that we can do. Okay, all of us can't get up and go down to Atlanta and put our bodies on the line and risk arrest and have to worry about bond and who's going to take care of our families and our children and our pets. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't get up and do that. So the ways that we can support, they asked us, I think, to change our backgrounds on Twitter. I need to do that as well. To stop Cop City and to contribute to the Atlanta Solidarity Fund. We have to do those things, y'all, because this fight that's happening with the forest and with Stop Cop City is one that I think is going to be historically pivotal. I think when we look back from the future and see what the outcome of this particular fight is, I think it's going to be a turning point for the state of possibly stopping creeping fascism further and stopping and making it clear to the ruling classes that we are not going to tolerate the destruction of this earth any longer, not for training grounds of death. You know what I'm saying? Imagine if they instead say, well, we don't want to tear down all 350 acres. What if we take away 20 acres and build housing? Free housing or opportunities or community-based spaces. Cop City is for the fucking cops. It's for the cops to train and deploy against us, against people who oppose capitalism, neocolonialism, and the encroaching further destruction, hastening the further destruction of the planet. Like, we don't want that, right? We don't want that for us. We don't want that for the children. We don't want that for the babies that are not yet here. So please stay attuned and try as often as you can to try to correct the narrative. If you hear people in your spaces, your coworkers, I don't fucking know, your conservative friends and family, and they talk about the domestic terrorism happening in Atlanta, beep, beep, shut that shit up. Shut that shit down immediately. Tell them that these people are there to defend not only the trees, but to defend the black and brown people of that city from all of these militaristic resources being spent and used against them, not to help them, but used against them. And as we continue with cops ain't shit, because I told y'all the cops have not been shit for a very long time, and it really got worse over this past 2 weeks or so. What people have been anticipating coming out of Memphis, Tennessee, has been the release of body cam footage of an incident in which 29-year-old Tyre Nichols had an encounter, a fatal encounter with 5 Memphis police officers, in which Tyre, initially I think this incident happened on January 10th, in which he was beaten so badly, and after he was admitted to the hospital, he died a couple of days later. And his family was absolutely appalled at the state of his condition when they saw him. But what we have seen coming out of Memphis, even though the body cam footage has not yet been released, and there is body cam footage, it must be so horrific and so bad that the city of Memphis has been doing its best to delay the release of this footage. And it sounds as though they're giving law enforcement an opportunity to marshal their resources to make sure they've got enough riot gear and tear gas and rubber bullets and all the shit that they use to deploy against protesters who have the audacity to be infuriated and incensed about police murdering those in their community. They're trying to get all that shit together is my guess, right? They're trying to gotta make sure they got gas in the tanks. You gotta have the tanks. Thanks, Obama, 1033. Yep, gotta make sure they got all the shit for the tanks and all that. So I want us to take a look at this press conference, and I think this was from NBC News. The Nichols family gave a press conference. They are being represented by Ben Crump and another local attorney who will be heard in this clip. But let me let the family's words be heard right here as it pertains to the police murder of Tyre Nichols. And let me say this very quickly. So the 5 police officers involved, all 5 were black. I don't think one had been on the force longer than 5 or 6 years. These are relatively young guys, not super experienced cops, which, that doesn't make a fucking difference, right? The stupid bitch up in Minneapolis right outside of Minneapolis who killed Dante Wright. I can't remember her last name. It was Kim something. That dumb bitch was a field training officer and had been on the force for over 20 years. So it don't matter if these cops have been on the force 30 years, 3 months. They are still the same soulless pieces of shit who don't have regard for human life. And it doesn't even matter if the cop is black, white, Asian, or other. Let's take a look at the press conference for Tyre Nichols' family.
Regrettably, it reminded us of Rodney King video. Regrettably. And unlike Rodney King, Tyre didn't survive. And so we are here to demand justice for Tyre.
Let me say this about Tyre, about what we saw in that video.
We're here not to talk about what a great boy he was and what a good son he was to his mother. But let me tell you what he was in that video. He was defenseless the entire time. He was a human pinata for those police officers. It was an unadulterated, unabashed, nonstop beating of this young boy for 3 minutes.
Oh my God.
That is what we saw in that video. Ben told you what we saw. Not only was it violent, it was savage.
Oh my God.
Why? Where was the proportionality that is required in order for those officers to use that type of force against a defenseless young man?
I don't know if this makes Miss Robon feel any better, but the last words on the video, he's only about 80 to 100 yards from his house, and he calls for his mom 3 times, Mom. He's called for his mom, and so where's the humanity? Where's the humanity?
I hate the fact that us as black people, we're out here killing each other.
That's right.
For what?
Come on.
I don't know why.
Come on, Mom.
We have the police killing us.
That's right.
I don't know why. I just don't understand why we have to have all this violence and everybody have to kill each other. I mean, what happened to this world? Everybody want to kill each other. Nobody don't want to talk to each other anymore. What happened to the humanity and kindness?
That's right. Amen.
What happened to it all?
Amen.
I don't know. But I just want to say, I want everybody to thank you guys for coming. And we're going to get justice for my son Tyre, if that's the last breath I take.
That's right. Amen.
Because at the end of the day, my son and no son deserves this.
Very difficult to just witness the grief and pain from yet another Black parent whose child was taken too soon. And, and I can understand where Tyre's mom is coming from when she talks about why is there so much killing. I mean, my perspective of America is that it has always been like this, whether or not it was ever impacting people directly or their individual experiences with violence largely dictates how people view America, right? Or how people view perhaps even their communities. And there is, I mean, I can't even say there's more killing, everybody, because number one, when we're talking about police killing citizens and civilians, these are numbers that are never been accurately tracked by any government agency in the history of ever. I mean, America police does not keep track of how many people they kill. Okay. And for the Black on Black violence that she was referring to, I'm certain, number one, she's talking about the Black cops that beat her Black child to death, for certain. But the regular violence that our communities are experiencing, that is all born out of capitalism, out of poverty, out of scarcity, out of an overproliferation of handguns in this country, and the ways in which our collective mental health and general health care, but even specifically mental health, is not being addressed, y'all. But I'm gonna get back to that. So, in the case of Tyre Nichols, what the Shelby County Police and the Shelby County District Attorney's Office had initially said is that they did not want to release the video, the body cam video, until after the family had had an opportunity to view the video. Well, the family has viewed the video. And now Shelby County is saying, well, it's probably going to be another week or two before we release it because we don't want to jeopardize the investigation. Huh? What? No. 2 weeks from now, I'm sorry. 2 weeks from now is going to put us in February. This young man was killed the first 10 days of January. Like, so really, you're just stalling. Really, you're hoping that the intense scrutiny and fervor around what happened to Tyre Nichols, really, you're hoping within another week or two, that shit will calm down a bit and people won't be in the streets as hard and people won't be ready to fucking burn Memphis down. That's what you're hoping for. You want a stall tactic. Okay, we see you 100% there, Shelby County. And let me tell you something. Anyone that's getting ready to get out in the streets down there in Memphis, man, be careful, because my perception of this is that all of this delay is to help them shore up their armaments, right? I'm serious. They're trying to get their tanks together. They're trying to make sure they got Tennessee National Guard at the ready. And of course, we know how these cracker law enforcement agencies in these definite cracker states do. I mean, this whole fucking country is cracker. Okay, let's be clear. But some states are definitely more crackerized than others, and we could definitely put Tennessee in that category because they definitely got a big cracker governor. Bill Lee is that the governor in Tennessee? Saltine, the king of the grams. Yeah, they're probably going to call not state troopers, I'm sorry, National Guardsmen from other states to come and assist to help put down the quote unquote riots because the niggas are acting up because the police done killed another one. Let me say this additionally about Tyre. I don't think anybody black is surprised that these cops were black and all black. If you live in places like Atlanta, Chicago, New York, where else do they got plenty of black cops? New Orleans, they got plenty of black cops in New Orleans. They got plenty of black cops in DC, Baltimore. You know, these black cops be showing out for the white cops, okay? These black cops, there's a reason KRS did the whole song about specifically black cop, because they are no better than the white cops. They have no more regard for black lives than racist white cops do. And it's a shame, but this is why we do not fuck with black police by and large, unless they working against the system now. Big up to Neil Franklin, who is doing his work. He's former police, but he is doing work to take down, I hope, the system, the bad system of policing. No, we don't have empathy for the black cops. We don't. So what the family of Tyre Nichols are saying is that they want first-degree murder charges pressed against these police. I hope that they get it. Firing these police are not enough. I mean, they still have their freedom. Tyre does not have the freedom to go home and be with his family. If we are holding police to a same level of accountability as other citizens, and police are not above the law, which we all know is bullshit, then those police need to be facing what the family wants. At minimum, second-degree murder, okay? But the family wants first-degree murder, and I do not disagree with what the family wants. So we'll be keeping an eye on this story as it continues to develop and unfold there in Memphis, Tennessee. The other part about cops ain't shit, Ursula and Damien, we are coming across the pond, beloveds. Because when I saw this case pop up, again, I wish I could be shocked. But this is the important thing that we have to do here, guys. When the police are caught doing things, we have to amplify that shit very loud and very often. Because, reading what some abolitionists have reported about this current climate, Miriam Kaba, who is an author and abolitionist and new librarian. Congratulations to Miriam. But anyway, I see her talk about, like, she's never heard this she's never heard abolition be spoken about so much in regular media circles and independent media circles. Like, I feel as though there is enough of us talking about truly abolishing the police and giving the reasons, number one, why the police should be abolished, number two, that there are better alternatives than the police. I think is very critical. And this situation that happened across the pond with Met police officer, pop up that Guardian article there for me, Will, because it's pretty wild. Okay, David Carrick. Okay, and if you look at the Guardian piece, okay, the Guardian, I thought the Guardian was supposed to be somebody of some repute. Perhaps I have that all wrong. Where did my screen go? The Guardian's headline still reads like propaganda. It says elite, elite. Metropolitan Police Officer David Carrick revealed as serial rapist. Serial rapist. Okay? There is nothing that is the only elite thing about him. Apparently, he was an elite level rapist of women in his community for almost 20 years. This man was a Metropolitan Police officer for, I believe, 17 years, of which in this initial piece, they accused him of at least 85 instances of either rape or sexual assault. Pop up that AP piece for me there, Will, because what has happened is David Carrick, in fact, admits to multiple counts of rape. And I believe the account is in the 40s. Hold on, let me get this together. So a London police officer on Monday admitted raping and sexually assaulting a dozen women over 17 years, and as prosecutors described, as one of the most shocking cases involving a serving police officer. Trust me, this is just the one they fucking found. David Carrick, 48, pleaded guilty to 49 offenses, including 24 counts of rape and charges that include assault, attempted rape, and false imprisonment. The officer who joined London's Metropolitan Police Force back in 2001 had served with the Parliamentary and Diplomatic Protective Command. And the other thing I found out about David Carrick is that he had actually been promoted to firearms nigga. I don't know what's the term, because not all cops in London carry guns, which is wild because somehow niggas end up getting shot by police. But that's another story. We'll get to that another day. The AP piece goes on to say the police department apologized to victims after it emerged that 9 allegations of rape and other crimes were made against Carrick between 2000 and 2021. He was only suspended from the force after his arrest for a rape complaint in 2021. Lord have mercy. Abolish the goddamn police. These motherfuckers can't catch a rapist that's literally under their nose, and which women and victims are bringing to the police's attention that they have a rapist in their ranks. And the police said, no, not Dave. Assistant Commissioner Barbara Gray said that the case, quote, was devastating and apologized for not removing Carrick from the force earlier. Lord. Quote, he has had a devastating impact on the trust and confidence of women and girls that we're working so hard to earn. He has devastated colleagues, said Gray in a statement. There was already a Met police officer who was charged in murdering a woman, Sarah Everhard. They were made aware about Carrick for years, and they did nothing. Let me read further on. It says, police said that Carrick met some of the women through online dating sites or on social media apps. Yes, I'm sorry. Using his position as a police officer to gain their trust. The victims did not feel able to come forward sooner because Carrick told them that they would not be believed. Wow. Well, he wasn't lying now, was he? I don't even want to hear what Sadiq Khan had to say. I don't want to hear what Rishi Sunak had to say. I don't want to hear what anybody had to say. Because at the end of the day, Sadiq Khan, British PM Rishi Sunak, all of them, y'all know y'all don't have no power over these fucking cops, right? Like just let us just be clear. It has to come out with a monster like David Carrick. Like it has to come out that this person was so prolific in their attacks upon women and innocent people out in the world that, oh, now something must be done. Oh, now we're so devastated by this. Well, how come you don't believe women? Metropolitan Police. I mean, I know why. Because the world is a misogynistic place. Everybody hates women. Like women are not just hated here in the US. Women are hated everywhere. In the UK, they're hated everywhere. I mean, shit, I would have guessed that some of David Carrick's supervisors, who themselves need to be disciplined and fired, possibly even charged for enabling a serial rapist and sexual assaulter. I mean, there needs to be some accountability here because they were made aware about what this man's conduct and his behavior was. And they did nothing. They even had a nickname for him. They called him Bastard Dave. Oh, that's just Dave. That's just Dave being terrible to women on the job while he's on duty. And that's acceptable because, bitches be lying. And bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. We ain't got to listen to what these bitches be saying. Not Bastard Dave. Not Dave. David Carrick pleading guilty to dozens of rapes and sexual offenses there in the UK. And there has been an inquiry set forth. Is this by the Met Police? Ursula and Damien, set me straight if I'm saying this incorrect. So there has been a further inquiry made into active members of the Met Police who have been identified or flagged as either sexual assaulters or domestic abusers. Guys, would you like to know? Would you like to know the number? Would you like to know how many police that they have flagged amongst the Metropolitan Police ranks as having accusations of either sexual assault or domestic violence against them? The number is over 1,000. 1,000. 1,000. 1,000 police on the force at the Met with some sort of domestic or sexual abuse accusation against them. Kalechi was saying this on Instagram, and she said, the reason why people like David Carrick are able to thrive in such environments is because the system is set up for that, okay? The system is set up to enable and protect specifically men, specifically white men, to do whatever the fuck they want with no accountability. Anyone who is not a white man trying to come collect this white man, they get the stiff arm, okay? They get ignored. They get their complaints not taken very seriously. And like the goddamn predator told his victims himself, he said, you can come tell on me if you want to. No one's going to believe you. And was he wrong? He was allowed to perpetuate this terrorism on the women of the UK for nearly 20 years, all while being a cop. It's very on brand. And let's be clear, gang. Please do not think for a single second that there are not David Carricks among the police forces where you live, where I live. Okay? This is standard operating procedure. Police are there to inflict violence and intimidation upon communities, okay? They are there to make sure that people stay in their place, and especially us bitches, especially us bitches, because we're only good for one thing, right? And if we're not trying to give up that one thing, oh, well, they could just take it. You know, like all the rapists do. Abolish the police, burn them the fuck down, get these goddamn rapists off the streets, put them the fuck in jail. Stop worried about black kids smoking marijuana or jaywalking or motherfuckers with air fresheners dangling from their rearview mirrors. Focus on these rapists. Focus on these child abusers. Focus on these molesters. But if they did that, they would just be putting themselves in jail, which is why they do not focus on such things, which is why they have to make sure all of their resources, time, and energy are spent conducting traffic stops on non-white people to try to engage them. And that's their quote unquote policing. Thank you to Franny French. Franny, I saw your super chat. Thank you. Let me go back to the chat here. That's going to be interesting. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this Met Police inquiry, because when you're talking about 1,000 officers on the force, potentially with domestic violence and sexual abuse claims against them, you have a systemic problem. Okay, you systemically hire people that beat women, children, and who rape, and you need to ask yourself why. All the commentary I saw coming out the UK was about the vetting. Oh, we have to do better vetting. Vetting? What the fuck? If the rapist is interviewing a subordinate and the subordinate is a rapist, then them niggas got shit in common. How the fuck you gonna vet that out? You have to abolish the whole system of policing. It is broken. It's over. It's done. Get it out of here. Kill it with fire. Push it off the cliff. It's causing too much harm to everybody else. And only ones it's protecting are the rich and the property owners. Not the vulnerable, not the most marginalized. Those are the targets. Moving on, because we've got a lot of cops ain't shit. Will, I'm gonna skip that. Okay, I'm gonna play along here. Okay, pop up that piece from the Stanford Advocate, Will. And the only reason I kind of hesitate to bring this story up is because I only saw the story one place and I did not get a chance to verify it. And trust me, guys, I know I talk a lot of shit and I call white people niggas and, and do a lot of cursing and tell politicians to SMD and all that good stuff. But I am a journalist, goddammit. I promise you, I am not here to lead you astray. I am not here to broadcast any sort of misinformation. I am not here to set out information in order to validate my worldview or my perspective. Because fuck, if I'm wrong, then I just be wrong. I mean, it's worse shit than being wrong. You can be wrong, right? So anyway, my only reluctance in bringing this story is that I only saw it one place, okay? And it was this place. And why do I have hesitation? And I'm bringing the story anyway, but the reason I have hesitation is because I am a trained journalist. And the fact that this is a local story to me, and I have not heard the story covered at all in local media, gives me a little pause. I'm like, is this a fake story? I saw it posted on Twitter by somebody that I do consider credible. But again, I did not have an opportunity to verify the story from a secondary source. So, but I'm going to bring it to you anyway. And if I turn out to be wrong, then I will absolutely make corrections. Okay. But this was posted in the Stanford Advocate. And interestingly enough, the story is not pertaining to Stanford. I'm assuming Connecticut. But in fact, this was dated January 10th, 2023. And this is a story coming out of Northern Virginia. And the headline reads, jury hears case alleging 4 cops enabled prostitution ring. Oh, what's that? Oh, the cops knew about the sex trafficking ring. And what did they do? Oh, they showed up for their services. Oh, I see. The Dateline is Alexandria, Virginia. And I have to tell you guys, I watch local news every single fucking day. I have not heard, or seen a DC TV media outlet report on this. A woman who says that she was lured from Costa Rica into a Virginia-based sex trafficking ring says that a former police chief and 3 other officers were clients of the enterprise and allowed it to operate. What? No. A federal jury in Alexandria, Virginia began hearing testimony Tuesday in the civil trial against the 4 officers, including Edwin Rossler, who is the former chief in Fairfax County, the state's most populous county. The woman, identified only as Jane Doe, worked under the supervision of Hazel Sanchez from 2010 until 2015. Sanchez was later convicted of running a commercial sex operation. Jane Doe said that Sanchez forced her into prostitution after luring her from Costa Rica with the promise of work as a nanny and a high-end escort who would go out on dates with wealthy clients but not necessarily be required to have sex with them. In reality, according to Sanchez's guilty plea, women were required to have sex with as many as 17 men a day. Oh my God. Including dangerous and degrading sex acts. Please pay sex workers, legalize sex workers, and legalize sex work and make that so well compensated. My God. Jane Doe says that the officers, here we go. Jane Doe says that the officers enabled her trafficking by allowing Sanchez's ring to operate, and that the police officers are well aware of the connections between trafficking and commercial sex operations. The lawyer for Rossler and James Baumstark, who is a former Fairfax County police captain, who is now deputy chief in Asheville, North Carolina, said the allegations against her clients are, quote, preposterous. Sure they are. It's made up out of whole cloth. What? Is that a what kind of phrase is that? It's made up out of whole cloth, said their lawyer, Kimberly Baucom. Damn, these Kims be giving Kims bad names. Rossler and Baumstark were not initially defendants in the lawsuit. Baucom says that they were added to the case only after a disgruntled Fairfax officer who worked in sex trafficking cases came forward to Jane Doe's lawyer after the initial lawsuit received publicity. The initial accusations against Rossler accused him of seeking to thwart that office's sex trafficking probe. On Tuesday, for the first time publicly, Jane Doe's lawyer, whose name is Victor Glassberg, alleged that Rossler and Baumstark were also clients of Sanchez's operation. The lawyer said that the defendants, quote, covered up the Sanchez enterprise until Jane Doe went to the FBI and it was shut down. Only when they got the feds involved, right? And I'm sure even then, I'm sure the feds still went and extorted sex acts from some of these trafficked women. That is my opinion. I do not know that for a fact. Jane Doe went to the FBI in 2015 after she said she was finally able to escape from Sanchez. Jane Doe said that Sanchez controlled her by confiscating her passport and threatening to turn her into immigration authorities if she doesn't work as a prostitute. The FBI investigation resulted in the criminal case against Sanchez. The FBI also turned over its findings to Fairfax County Police, which led the Fairfax County Police, which led to the resignations of the other 2 defendants, Michael Barbizet of Manassas, Virginia, who is a police lieutenant, and Jason Mardaco, of Gainesville, who was a sergeant. The FBI investigation, how come this is not a criminal investigation? Why is this a civil case? The FBI investigation turned up emails and phone numbers connecting Barbizet and Mardoco to Sanchez. In Tuesday's opening statements, their lawyer, Heather Bardot, said her clients acknowledging hiring Sanchez as a prostitute, but say that they had no knowledge of a wider operation run by Sanchez or that they even knew Jane Doe. All four defendants questioned Jane Doe's credibility. They say that she was never trafficked, but was in fact engaged in sex work consensually. They cite the fact that Jane Doe continued to do sex work for a year after she said that she escaped from Sanchez. Fuck you. Oh, so we're slut shaming sex trafficking victims now. That sounds very on brand and par for the course. Attorney Glassberg acknowledged that Jane Doe continued to engage in commercial sex work, but described it as survival sex. Yeah. Something that she did both because she knew no other way to make money independently, and because the man she married after leaving Sanchez forced her to do so. Lord, there is no winning for these women who are trafficked, and women and people, it's not just women, but in this case, specifically women. Lawyers on both sides told the jury that the case would hinge on the credibility of Jane Doe, oh Lord, who is expected to testify. And I don't say, oh Lord, because I have any doubts about this woman's credibility. I just know how sex workers are attacked and vilified. And that's in Northern Virginia, even though it's purpling, it's still kind of conservative. Oh, FYI, Fairfax, Virginia, for my people who might follow the area, y'all remember Kevin Davis? That fucking punk motherfucker Kevin Davis used to be the police commissioner of Baltimore City. He is now the chief of police in Fairfax County. That's just a little information there. So this case is a civil case, and I will be keeping you guys updated about the outcome. But let us be clear here. In the UK, cops are outright raping people by the dozens, David Carrick. And here in Northern Virginia, the cops are, I won't say patronizing sex workers, because I don't think that is in itself a problem. I don't think police should be patronizing sex workers so long as the sex work remains illegal, which I'm fairly confident in Northern Virginia, sex work is illegal. So if anything, I mean, I don't have a problem with consensual sex work and women and people who choose that line of work for themselves, not because they are coerced or forced into that kind of work. But the bottom line is the police absolutely knew, in my opinion, that a sex trafficking ring was happening in that area. They just did a story. This week about the proliferation of how the Washington, D.C. area is a hotspot nationally for sex trafficking. And the area that they specifically highlighted was Northern Virginia. Yes, to the point that they estimated annually 40,000 people, women, girls, non-binary folks, children, are sex trafficked in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area every year. Every year. So I hope Miss Doe gets what she's looking for. I'm not exactly clear on what she's seeking, because I don't think that this article mentions that, but I find it pretty interesting. Again, as much of a local news hound as I am, y'all, goddamn, I didn't realize it was that late. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. I just know. I just know that the propaganda works in media in both the ways that they report and frame things, and also by the shit that they don't report. Everybody, the shit that they don't report. Well, I'm gonna let you loose here in 2 seconds, bro. Let me do a couple more things, and then I'm gonna set y'all free. Thank you all. Let me go back to the chat real quick. Y'all still here? Oh, good. Everybody's still here. Hey, what's up, Beth? Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you, Latif. Peace, Nawadi. Ronnie. Yeah, you right. You goddamn right. They knew. Okay, thank you. Peace, Infinite. Thank you so much, man. What's up? What big up to the Eagles. Lord, I can't believe I'm saying that. Just see the Eagles. The fucking Eagles stomped a mud hole in the Giants. I thought the Eagles was gonna hang 50 on them boys, infinite content. I said it's 27-0 at halftime. I said I come back to this shit. This shit better say 50-6 in the fourth quarter. I was disappointed that the Eagles took the foot off the gas. Because, you know, all them NFC East animosities, I don't fuck with the Commanders, but I still hate the Cowboys, hate the Giants, hate the Eagles, but I hate the Eagles the least because I like Philly. But there's that. So congratulations to the Eagles. Big up to the Eagles. Eagles did what they had to do. And shout out to the Niners. Come through, Niners. Beat the shit out them Cowboys. We love to see it. We do love to see it. Okay. All right. Let's go to this one, Will. Go to the Tucson officer. Okay, guys, this is an update on a story that we covered here. I want to say this might have been a year ago. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wipe my nose in front of y'all. I did just do that. My bad. Maybe we'll put the article up in time. Maybe y'all didn't see that happen. But this is a story really quickly pertaining to disabled folks and the ways that, you know, disabled people are not treated well by law enforcement and, in fact, are vulnerable to police violence as much as possible. So this piece is in the Arizona Republic, and the headline reads, Tucson officer who fatally shot man in wheelchair not charged by grand jury. Lord, who is sitting on these grand juries? Klansmen? Yes, I already know. Quickly, a Pima County grand jury found that there was insufficient evidence to charge a Tucson police officer who shot and killed a man in a wheelchair back in 2021. After former police officer Ryan Remington fatally shot a man in a motorized wheelchair in November 2021, it was announced that he would not be charged with manslaughter in August 2022 by Pima County Attorney Laura Conover. But the case went to the grand jury and found that there was not enough evidence to pursue. However, the state still could decide to charge. According to Tucson police, Officer Remington fatally shot the man who was identified by police as Richard Lee Richards. I remember this now. At a Lowe's parking lot near Valencia and Midval Park. Yep. Midval Park roads at about 6 p.m. on November 29th, 2021. Remington was working off duty as a security guard when he responded to a shoplifting call nearby at the Walmart. That's right. The Tucson Police Department fired Remington on November 30th, 2021, the day after the shooting occurred. How come they didn't charge him? Again, it's not enough for these cops just to get fired. They kill people. Police said that an employee informed them that they confronted the shoplifting suspect, Richards, to show a receipt for the toolbox that he was suspected of taking. He pulled out a knife, allegedly, again, and told the employee, here's your receipt. Okay, and you know what? Let's say he did pull out a knife, okay? If he's in a wheelchair, you have an advantage if you were a standing able person. Let's not be fuck around. I mean, a knife is a fucking knife. But the nigga said, here's your receipt, and kept it pushing. You need to leave him alone, basically. Officer Stephanie Taylor also responded to the scene. After the officers told Richards not to enter the Lowe's, Remington fired his gun 9 times into Richards' back and side, causing Richards to immediately fall from his chair. He was pronounced dead at the scene. No charges filed. The grand jury said there was insufficient evidence to charge this former Tucson police officer with manslaughter, even though he shot a disabled man who was motoring away from him 9 times in the back and the side. God help this nation. And I see, the thing is, there's some stories I want white people to see, but I know white people don't watch. They're not watching my show. Not like they need to be watching it. And big up to our radical whites. I love y'all so much. You know I do. Because again, Franny French, Quaker anarchists, David Silver, there's no fucking way y'all could be racist and still be here. There's no way in the world. There's no way in the world. But it's the other whites. With the other whites, I would love for the other whites to be listening, but they don't be listening. Pop up that piece from NBC Washington, Will. So this, and again, I want to be clear. This is another story. Again, these are all recent stories, gang. Everything I'm pulling from this isn't shit that I had to dig up from a month ago or 2 months ago. This is all things that have happened in the past week to 10 days. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. This story coming out of Fauquier County. And I want anybody who has people in their life who say that police mean well, that the police da. No, police are threats to public safety. They are menaces. Also out of Northern Virginia, ex-Fauquier County deputy charged in 100-mile-per-hour crash that killed couple. Please put the picture of the couple up if you could for me, Will. Look at that. I hope they're nice white people. God damn it. It's really painful sometimes to be a black person in America, especially if you want to be empathetic and sympathetic to people who were harmed. But when it's white people, I'm like, God damn, I hope they wasn't racist. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's always kind of chirping in my head, like, oh man, I'm sorry that happened to them. And then I think, but what if they was crackers? Would I still feel the same? I don't know. But I'm gonna give these people the benefit of the doubt because I don't know, right? So a former sheriff's deputy in Fauquier County, Virginia, has been charged. Hold on. Guess what he was charged with, y'all? Not with murder, not with manslaughter, charged with reckless driving, a misdemeanor, nearly 1 year after a high-speed crash that killed a husband and wife. Investigators said that Brock Smith was going 100 miles per hour in his cruiser when he slammed into Mary and Brian Dangerfield's car as they began to cross March Road in the couple's 2018 Toyota Camry back on February 25th, 2022. The Camry flipped into the median. Smith was not authorized to respond to any emergency calls and did not have the cruiser's emergency signal lights activated, Virginia State Police said. The Dangerfields, who were both 65, died from their injuries. In June, Fauquier County and the couple's family agreed to a $5 million settlement, lawyers for the family told News 4 on Thursday. Quote, the family is grateful that the claims were resolved quickly and without a drawn-out litigation. Interesting, but this money could never replace the loss of Mr. and Mrs. Dangerfield. Not a day goes by that the grandchildren don't ask about their grandparents, attorney Kevin Benelizan said after the settlement. And just to be clear, is that it? Is that all News 4 had to say? What they didn't say in this is that reckless driving in the state of Virginia, Commonwealth of Virginia, is a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor. This fucking former Fauquier County Sheriff's deputy recklessly killed and took the lives of this innocent couple because he wanted to go fast. He thought he was fucking Dukes of Hazzard in Hazzard County and wanted to drive 100 miles per hour without his lights and sirens on, slammed into this couple, killed them, and he lost his job and got charged with a misdemeanor. White people, you understand? Pay attention. Because if they doing y'all like this, you know how they're doing us. But I mean, the point is, these police are as much of a danger to all people in the public sphere. Okay, these are not guardians of public safety. And let me put up my last video to illustrate that point. Now, to be fair, I saw this posted, this last video, and it's going to be a YouTube short about how cops ain't shit when it comes to public safety. And this was posted to the YouTube page of the Kansas City Defender. Kansas City Defender, a reputable Black-led media organization based out of Kansas City that helped to break the story about the supposed serial, at least kidnapper, potential murderer. We really don't know because Kansas City police are not doing a good job of trying to solve some of these unsolved cases of missing Black women in the Kansas City area. However, I respect the work that the Kansas City Defender does. And they posted this to their YouTube page, and I said, oh, this is interesting. So I apologize. I do lack a little context for this. But what I do know is that this happened in Kansas with Kansas police. Now, I don't know if these are Kansas State troopers. I don't know if they are Kansas City, Kansas police. I don't even know. But the cops came to this couple's door, and one of the police appeared to be under the influence of something, okay? And the brother, the brother was all over it. So just be aware, this is a short video. And again, I do lack context here, but this cop does look fucked up. Let's take a look.
I am not talking to you.
Hey, can I get a sergeant?
We can't find anybody.
I want a sergeant. I want a sergeant. Because I want a sergeant to see him. I want a sergeant to see him. You know for a fact this man is under the influence or something.
I have a party here requested for a sergeant.
You know he's under the influence or something.
Okay.
Hey, if I held my finger up and told you to follow my finger, could you do it?
Was wrong, Dave? Got famous?
You're high as shit, dude.
So I understand you guys are upset and frustrated.
You brought a high cop to my house.
It's frustrating. You guys walked to my mom's house.
Look at this.
Without permission.
Hey, can I get your name and badge number? Can I get your name and badge number? Who?
Officer Shepard 2075.
Officer Shepard what?
2075.
2075.
It was not
cool. Hey, you cool.
secure.
Hey, look, we're not gonna be hostile.
And it
We're
wasn't-
actually cool.
and my
You're
door
actually-
wasn't
bro, you're
open,
showing
it was
really cool,
shut.
but let's be honest. He doesn't seem.
Interesting. I saw that clip and I said, that was very advantageous of the brother to to make that deduce that in real time. For what I could tell, that the police did look a little intoxicated, but it's not shocking, guys, because this is what police do, right? The laws don't apply to them. Of course, they could be on the job under the influence, intoxicated, fucked up. And if you are Black, especially, or brown, or woman, you just got to deal with that shit. What you going to do, huh? Only thing you can do is do what that brother did and pull out his phone to document for that. So follow up with the Kansas City Defender to see if they gave a little bit more context to that. But I just happened to come across that. I said, yeah, that could be the little cherry on my cops ain't shit Sunday, and how police are not here to protect and serve. They are not here to safeguard public safety. They are not here to even be good stewards of the massive budgets of which is bestowed onto them, many of which in these police departments, they get more money than any other public agency, period. The police have to be abolished. If anything, the police are the crime problem. They are the crime wave themselves. Between what happened with Keenan Anderson in Los Angeles, and then LAPD killed more people, and all in between, we've had a number of mass shootings here in the U.S. You guys, America is a madness. It is a madness. The state is out to kill us. The men, the men out to kill us. It's important that we do what we can. And big up to everyone that is in organization, that is doing organization. I would like to have a talk about organization. I would like to have a conversation, but that is not a conversation I want to have for today. I'm not opposed to joining an organization, y'all. I'm not going to lie. Like, I need to know that specifically the shit that matters to me is there. Okay. Is there a disability rights platform? What are the accessibility and accommodations for disabled members of the organization? And if there are allegations of harassment or sexual misconduct, what are the protocols? What's the process? Who would a person who might be a victim of sexual harassment, who would they tell? And if it was one of the higher ups in the organization, again, who would they tell? Like, these are things that I need to know before I feel safe. Before I feel safe joining an organization. I'm quite happy being an army of one, but I know that that's not the smart way to go. As fascism is getting its shit together in the year 2023. So we'll have a conversation, y'all. We'll talk. We will talk. I love y'all to pieces, Will. I'm deeply apologetic for keeping you for a million hours. But listen, guys, we will be back here Friday. I'm pretty sure Remix Morning Show is having a show tomorrow. I will join the people them for the talks them. Thank you all again. Ooh, big up to Nat A. Nat A. You are who I forgot to shout out the other week. Nat A, our sister, she had surgery, and I want us to send healing vibrations to Nat A because we love Nat. Nat participates in our Around the Fire disability support chat. So big up to Nat A. And on a sad note, gang, I saw, and this is my last thing, and then I'm gonna go. On a sad note, I saw under the status quo community page, Jordan posted that Paul XBOG passed away. Paul XBOG, BSOG. You guys might know Paul from being in this chat. I know Paul, I would see him in Status Quo. I even think he used to be in Clickbaity chat with Marcus and Mondell. Jordan had this posted on Status Quo's community page. And, Jordan is a reputable journalist whose news judgment I trust. And I don't think that Jordan would have posted that for no reason. Someone must have communicated that to him. Are you guys familiar with that? No? Right, Infinite. That's what I said. I took a screenshot of the shit. I couldn't even send it to Will to put up because I'm like, what? It made me very, very sad. So anyway, if that is the case, we want to send rise in power vibrations to Paul XBSOG. From all accounts, a very good brother with encouraging comments, very sharp commentary. And if he did pass, just want to send condolences out to everyone who knew and interacted with Paul XBSOG. So I wanted to communicate that. So anyway, gang, thank you, Stren. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, Infinite. Thank you, guys. Imani, Spin Cycle Dragon, Arlene, hello. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Peace, Nawadi. Latif, I love you. Please tell Court I love her. Feminist News Network, thank you so much for all you do. Shirley, I love you to pieces. Sun Queen, thank you, guys. Gamandis, big up. I Manifesto, hello, honey. Hey, Imani Festo. Right. All right, guys. Let me let Will go to the Aldi. Will said he had to go to the store. I said, Will, you live in a food desert. What store are you going to? Will, pop open your mic. What store are you going to? The Lidl? Which store are you going to? Shoppers Food Warehouse. Will might ignore me. Are you ignoring me? Will said, get the fuck off the broadcast cam. I said, okay. All right, guys. I'll see y'all back here Friday. Thank you all so much for rocking with us. And we'll see you on the Remix Morning Show, mañana. See y'all later. Bye-bye.